Check, 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 check. So you should have. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Yep, you should be good. It says red, so just know that red means hot. Just think of it that way. All right. 3 minutes.
Good. Yeah, that works. No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I mean, I'm laughing because I'm just, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go live on TikTok while they. Hi! We're just getting logged in and on, and good afternoon, good morning. I don't know. You know why it feels like morning? Because this is like my first thing of the day today. So it is me just getting started. I'm a little rusty, I think, still, because this is my first thing of the day. Usually my Monday mornings, I'm seeing like clients and doing individual things with folks. So I just had some time to myself this morning. So here I am eating my lunch with you all, getting ready for our weekly just live, and we eat lunch and hang out, or a snack or a meal together. So I'm gonna go live on the other platforms here in a few minutes, but I wanted to get my TikTok friends on and going and saying hi. Let me know where y'all are from. I'm from Texas. I'm Stephanie Waite. Hi. Hi, Emmy. Come join us, Illinois. I went to graduate school up in Illinois, in Chicago. I went to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. I lived at Racine in Wellington. I loved it up there. I loved it, loved it, loved it. My family is from Illinois, the south side of Chicago, like the south suburbs. And so visited there a lot as a kid, and then went to grad school up there, and sadly I haven't been back since that time. That's so sad to say. I'm gonna go live on our other channels. Hi everybody. Oregon, Wisconsin, Germany, Connecticut, UK, Minnesota, Washington State, Michigan, New Jersey. Wow, so many people from all over. This is awesome. England, Sweden. Should I have pasta or a sandwich for lunch today? I can't decide. So when you can't decide, maybe ask yourself some of these kind of yes no questions of do you want some, what kind of texture are you looking for? Are you wanting something salty? Are you wanting something something sweeter? Are you wanting something crisper? Are you wanting something that's soft? Are you wanting something comforting? Kind of like, how would, if you could describe food without judgmental labels, like if you were just to talk about food and kind of like the sensation you get from eating food, does that help you land in a place? But to be honest, all are great, all are good. There isn't a right and there isn't a wrong. You can eat the bread and you can eat the pasta. So eat whatever. But I welcome everybody to join us for their meal, their snack, their lunch, breakfast, because there's people from all over the place joining us. So I know it's not lunchtime necessarily. It is my lunchtime. So, oh, let me get on to, where's the camera? I'm trying to see, I'm seeing Instagram and I'm like, awkwardly placed. So hopefully me sitting this way will help. Okay. So what's really fun about this live is it became really clear that a lot of people didn't have a lot of like support to eating disorder, like just group and connection from people. That became clear, well, as I started my practice, but then also as COVID became a thing. So we started talking about how can we just help people get more just community and support around you know, their relationship with food and relationship with their body. So for those who don't know me, I'm Stephanie Waite. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm a certified eating disorder specialist. This is Michael, like, what are we, he's my partner, producer. He's the tech person. And so he's the one who makes this sound and look the way. I just show up and hang out with y'all. So it's my favorite hour of the week. I love this time. So I'm so glad that we're all here, and I'm going to just answer, we're going to just hang out, eat our lunch, eat our snacks. I do my best to monitor the comments. It is just me monitoring the comments, and we're live on a whole lot of channels. So I want to ask a couple of things of those watching. Can we please be careful about what we're leaving in the comments, i.e. let's not talk about numbers, right? No calories, no weight, numbers. Let's not talk about like use of specific behaviors. Let's try to speak generally about those things. And if you aren't sure, you can use TW, trigger warning, so that those who might feel triggered by those things, they can kind of just scroll through. And I don't want to police comments. I don't want y'all to be the comment police either, but if we can also maybe have some accountability and gently educate people in the comments if we're seeing something that could be, you know, harmful for somebody. So cool. I think those are like the only things. So, all right, let's see. Lots of questions. Offer support. If you see a comment where somebody is struggling, I want everyone here, like the idea here is we're doing some just like hanging out and we're normalizing eating. We're normalizing that we can come together and kind of have community and hang out and eat together. So share your success with your meal in the group. Let us know that you're here eating with us. If you're struggling, share that too, right? We want to offer each other support. So y'all be sure to, like, you know, cheerlead and encourage and support our fellow friends in the comments. So hi Instagram. Let's see. That one Gryffindor. Hi. Hello. Eva McNaughton. I prefer everything. Hi. All right, so y'all ask any questions. We can talk like just anything. We can talk mental health. We can talk eating disorders. So I didn't have anything prepared. Let's see. I'll get to questions because it looks like there's a lot of questions over here on TikTok. So you really, Sid, I'm gonna not get this right. I'm not gonna say your name. Sid Posliak. You really want to cancel your therapy appointment because you're scared. I hear that a lot. And sometimes Well, I won't speak for this therapist because I don't know this therapist. I'll speak for myself. I get a little nervous too for the first session. Like, I get a little, because I'm also meeting somebody for the first time, and what are they going to think of me, and or is this going to be like a good fit? Am I going to be able to help them? What do they need? Like, I think we also are thinking of you in that way of, we're really curious to meet you, and we're really curious to hear about you and hear about where you're wanting support. And again, I don't know this therapist, but I know I wouldn't come in the first few sessions with any kind of judgment or making any kind of decision. I think that sometimes assessing takes some time. Again, depending on where you're at in the process, if you're somebody who's just never gotten any kind of like mental health treatment before, this is your first time seeing somebody, right? It may take some time to come up with the diagnosis and figure out what's going on, because there's history, and you have to feel comfortable to share that history with somebody, right? So that takes time to get to know the therapist. So I depend then, if you're like further along in the process, maybe you've been to a higher level of care, and you've had some psych reports, and you've been given paperwork with diagnoses and those things. Maybe you've been in this for a bit, and where you're at and what you're dealing with. Maybe it's still nerve-wracking to meet a therapist. And even if you've been in been in therapy for a long time, I think it's okay that like shit comes up, and things come out, and that might feel a little uncomfortable for you. Maybe you're gonna be working through some things with your therapist. Therapy is an uncomfortable process. I'm not saying that to discourage anybody from going to therapy. I'm saying that because it does challenge us. Like, the idea is to change like core beliefs and change the filter that like you're seeing yourself. That is sometimes hard. There's a lot of reasons why we hold on to these beliefs and these ideas, right? So it's not always easy to just like, let go of and abandon. So it's okay that you're nervous. I want to encourage you to go. Your therapist referred you to an ED specialist, and I'm terrified. What can I do to ease my stress? If you've been seeing a therapist, an ED specialist is a therapist. They're just like your therapist. The only difference is an ED specialist has a lot more like just training and understanding of the diagnosis and the treatment and the assessment of eating disorders. That's it. So they've attended a bunch of trainings. They may be a certified eating disorder specialist, which is a big process, but they are still a therapist. So they do all the things that your therapist is doing and has been doing. They just also really, really, really know the disease. So they're able to like challenge it a little bit more, or we're able to, God, we get it. Like, clients will just be talking to me about things, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds like an eating disorder thought. And it's like, oh my gosh, like just how it's such a nuanced thing, but having a specialist who can kind of catch where the eating disorder is still like in there and interfering and getting in the way, right? That is the perk of that. So it's okay to feel nervous. Again, you're meeting a new person, but that person is just they're gonna have all that compassion and love and openness and non-judgmentalness of any therapist. I don't just treat eating disorders. I also treat, other things, because I am a licensed professional counselor. So, right, I'm going to assume that this therapist you're going to see is just as open and cool as your therapist has been. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so N Great 5 on Instagram. You've been struggling a lot with your friends, and your friends and parents don't really get it. I know, and I say I know because, well, I don't know your struggle. So let me rephrase that. Let me take a bite. Talking about mental health is hard, period. Talking about an eating disorder is also really hard. Um, because there is so much shame and so much stigma. People are afraid, like, we think that eating disorders look a certain way. Most people do who, like, aren't in it. And so you might talk about it, but then get an invalidating message, not because your family and friends don't love you, but because they're just awareness of it um keeps them from recognizing signs and symptoms earlier, right? So I would say if you have support, therapist, school counselor, a best friend, like a mentor, ask them to help you talk to your family and talk to your friend, or talk to your support. um if not, if you don't have that, most of your family are coming from a good place and they want to help you and they want to be there for you. So it's okay to talk to them and say, hey, like, I'm struggling with this, and I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but like, here's some information. And so some great places to get some information on eating disorders, and I think just like mental health, you can visit my website, recovery-academy.com. And there's resources there. If you're wanting to see like a therapist in your area, Psychology Today, psychologytoday.com is a great website to also find some support. Okay, let's see. How do I tell my therapist they just weren't a good match? Ooh, that's so hard. That is so hard. So hard. There's some ways to do this. Um, Ghosting a therapist is painful. I have been ghosted. So, from my perspective, I'm really thankful for M Hawk K for you asking this question. So it hurts to be ghosted as a therapist, but I get it. It's hard, and it's hard to tell because, especially because it's easy to think of a therapist as, like an expert, and you do have a relationship with this person. You've told this person a lot, and there is care, even if there's not a good match, and you can see that they're probably a good person. So to say to them, hey, you're not a good match, you're not a good fit, would be really hard. You could be that honest and that direct with your therapist. We have professional education and ethics and supervision and consultation. We can handle that information. So like, it hurts, but we know that we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And or if it doesn't feel easy to say it that directly, I think you could just say that you felt like you needed to work on some things, and that you've found a therapist who specializes, or is more equipped or has experience addressing the thing that you want to address. Maybe that is a way to tell your therapist too. So I hope that helps Hawk to, it's okay to want to switch to a new therapist. It happens, like, it's okay. So you need to do what you need to do for you. So you go find a therapist who is a good fit for you. And I encourage that for everybody. I tell all of my clients that initially, like, I may not be the best fit for you. So that's okay if I'm not the best fit for you. Let's see who is, right? So let's go back to some questions. Oh, Daisy Heather on TikTok. Great question. How's everybody doing? Like, for real, how's everybody doing? Are we getting through this meal? Are we getting through this snack? Anybody needing some support? Your Bree Hughes on Instagram. I'm eating a bit and some fries. It's hard, but yay, good for you. Proud of you. I'm glad you're here enjoying those fries with us. I'm eating my lunch as I answer these questions. So, okay. Not being weighed at the doctor is hard AF. To decline that is hard. And I talk to my clients about that. I encourage them. I give them permission, coach them on saying no. You could say, I'm going to do it, and then show up and it feel really hard to do. So there might be some ways to like problem solve this. Do you call ahead and say, hey, you know, I'm just asking that you don't weigh me. Can you make a note on my chart? When you get there, there is a card. Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna, there is, okay, so my friend on Instagram, Brave Haven Counseling, Whitney Stable, she has like a card that has like a script to like hand to a doctor, and there's somebody else who, there's a couple of other folks who, maybe Reagan Chastain on Instagram has one, Erica Leon may have, I've seen that. So these are just folks who colleagues who I've seen share about this, but there's like this card you can get and you hand it to your doctor and it says like, I don't want to be weighed, right? So it's kind of this like, because it's really hard to say that. Do you write a letter to the doctor beforehand? Do you have your therapist called? Do you have your school counselor called? Do you have your nutritionist called? Do you have your doctor call? Right? There's like, is there somebody who can call for you if it feels like you can't? If there's still gonna be, if it still feels like you can't say no and you can't refuse the weight, again, can you ask for a blind weight where, you know, you step on backwards and ask that they don't show you the weight? So that can be really triggering for people. That's a big one. And it's okay if you have like a plan, or if you're processing what to do about that beforehand. So I've got somebody in the comments on Instagram who's having a hard time right now. Can we just give like some props and some well wishes? I'm trying to chew. To anybody who's having a rough time, right? It is hard to sometimes get our meals in. I'm proud of you for all of you showing up, being here and hanging out with me, hanging out with us. Okay. Yes, thank you. Yay. Not your average mermaid. Best screen name ever. I always stand turned away and ask not to be told what my weight is. That's awesome. That does not, that takes some work to do. So that shows you've done some work and it's hard. So it's okay, right? If some of us don't, if it still feels really hard. So many of y'all are getting help and seeing therapists and going to treatment. This is amazing. So I need support for people who are having a hard time eating right now. There are several of y'all in the comments on TikTok and on Instagram who are having a hard time. So can I just ask for some love and support for people? Just, we're here. It's okay that this is hard. You can do this, right? And we're all gonna, I believe in you. I believe in all of you on this. You got this. Oh, okay, so I've got I'm not sure, okay, talking about their friend not wanting, who does have an eating disorder and doesn't want to get any help and they're scared. Mm-hmm. It's hard to watch. And one of the best things you can do for your friend is continue to love them by letting them know, listen, this is a disease, but it is a treatable disease. And you can get help, and I want to help you get help, and I will find a therapist for you. Is there somebody I can help talk to for you? Just continue to let them know, yes, it's okay to not be okay, right? Like, I hear that you're struggling and I love you. And because I love you and I believe that you don't have to stay stuck struggling, it's also okay if you go and talk to somebody and get some help for that. And kind of just keep reassuring them it's okay to get help. Can I help you? Again, psychologytoday.com, recovery-academy.com, for specific eating disorder resources and support and just information. I love how y'all are all so supportive of each other. That's what this is so fun about, this is the community. Mental health stuff hasn't been easy to talk about historically. I'm gonna say in the last, I don't know, 10 years, maybe less, people are more open to talking about it. And as a result, we have people talking about anxiety and we have people talking about depression. That's amazing. And we need more awareness for that. There are still things that are stigmatized in our field. And so I don't know that we're talking about things that cause us to feel shame enough. And that's why I love therapy, is I think it's a great way to just help work through the shame of those messages that are keeping you just like replaying that shame and that hate and that like hurt that self-worth narrative that is really harmful to you. It helps therapy can help you gain awareness to those things and then help you release the pain of those messages or those experiences, and then learn from them to help you be, I don't want to say better, but to do different so that maybe you experience less shame moving forward. So it really is a process. It's an amazingly beautifully complicated process, but therapy is really great. So this community is really just so, I love how y'all talk about your struggle with eating disorders with each other, and you support each other around food and body stuff, because it's not easy to talk about these things in other forums and in other places. I think there is, well, we have to worry about diet culture, don't we? And then we have to again worry about the shame. So this is why this is one of my favorite times, is to come to this community of people who get it and are here to like support and encourage and validate that, hey, you're not alone, and hey, we can do this together. So all right, so we've got, I can't hide my crazy advice. I was diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I have a hard time accepting it because I'm a high weight. That is such a common thing I hear all the time. I'm not sick enough. Because we have this idea that eating disorders look a certain way or only happen to people at a certain weight. Eating disorders affect any body. Period. Period. So if you are diagnosed with an eating disorder, you have an eating disorder. In fact, those of us who specialize in the field know that weight is not a criterion for diagnosing somebody with an eating disorder. So yes, right? I see people all the time whose weights are all over the weight spectrums and they have eating disorders. Do you deserve to be here even though you're too nervous to get diagnosed? Of course, everybody deserves to be here. Chloe Olivia 24, of course, getting help is hard. And I hope that people who don't have an eating disorder diagnosis find some support here too. There's things to learn about just like body image, and we all, I think, have fucked up relationships with food in our bodies. So I hope that all people feel welcome here to come and just feel less fucked up about food and less fucked up about our bodies and less like judgmental of food. But I want everybody here to have permission to eat and take care of themselves and try to live, the freest, funnest life they can. Aw, someone, Sofaloff, thank you. So glad you're here. Let's see. Okay. Awesome. Okay, all of you forever. Sending everyone love and support. I love you guys. Every day is a new day, and I hope the best community ever. I'm not so sure. Okay, you guys can do this. We all believe in you. I've been struggling with an eating disorder for 23 years. I have to do this on my own, but I'm not sick enough. Yes, you are. You just said you're sick enough. So, I have some thoughts about that. Let me take a bite. There are so many reasons why getting help is hard. If you have access to a therapist, please get help for your eating disorder. You don't have to be a certain weight to have an eating disorder. If you message me and you said, Stephanie, I weigh blah, 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 but I do this, do I have an eating disorder? First of all, I cannot diagnose you. But second of all, I never ask any of my clients their weight when they come to see me. That rarely is something that we discuss, because weight and focus on weight is a symptom. I don't want to treat the symptoms. I don't want to help you band-aid symptoms. I want to help treat your brain and treat the way that you see your body, you see yourself in your relationship with food, right? So that those things are better. Therefore, improving your relationship with food, improving your health, improving your mental health. It has nothing to do with weight. I do not consider weight at all in my treatment of people. The only time that weight comes up in conversation is if I'm having to manage weight for a part of the treatment team. Meaning, like, does an RD need it? Does a doc need it? Because I'm in a really rural area of Texas, and so I'm the only eating disorder specialist, so a lot of my clients have to see people that aren't local. So I may weigh someone in my office only to do it in that like safe way where, of course, you're not going to be like, we can process if we need to, and I hide it from the client. But and then I send that to the treatment team. But weight is never a part of the conversation. You're about to hear some like crunching because I'm opening my chip bag. So if you have access to a therapist, please go see a therapist. But I understand that that is a privilege. Not everybody has access to a therapist. And there are reasons for that. Money. It can be expensive. Location. Some places don't have therapists. Some places don't. If they don't have therapists, they're even less likely to have eating disorder specialist. And there's lots of reasons why people don't go to therapy. So I think that diagnosis and therapy is sometimes a privilege, but if you have access to that privilege, I want to encourage you to access it. But a lot of people are having to do recovery on their own because of reasons, because of these different reasons. And that is one of the reasons why I created and founded the Recovery Academy, because eating disorders are the most deadly mental health condition. I think it's the statistic is one life is taken every 64 minutes. Like, it's a lot, right? It's devastating. And it is a treatable disease. It is a disease that people don't have to be dying from. It's unnecessary that we lose another life to an eating disorder. So the Recovery Academy is where I teach people and support people and offer people lessons and support, accountability, support and community to heal and get support through dealing with an eating disorder. When even if you have access to a therapist, it's a really helpful tool. But if you don't have access to a therapist, it's not a replacement for therapy, but it is a tool for people who are just not able to access a lot of information and who are stuck and struggling and want some support. So for those who are not in a place to go to therapy for whatever reason, but you're miserable, okay, I want to invite you and give you permission to see how you can, what resources you can absorb. There is information out there. There are books, there are podcasts, there are YouTube channels. Soak up the information and take it. And check out the recovery-academy.com. Check out, again, these YouTube channels. Check out these podcasts and fill your brain and fill your soul with recovery information. That is going to help, right? It's going to help you just stay supported. It's going to help fill your brain with that good juice as opposed to all the icky juice that's in your head because of having an eating disorder. So many of y'all on here are talking about how you don't deserve help. That is never true. And you can't convince me. You all deserve help, period. Please. It's okay to get help if you are uncomfortable. You struggle cooking for yourself? This is It's Carmen Dior on TikTok. You struggle cooking for yourself and tend to eat too much fast food. It makes me feel guilty for eating. So, yeah, I hear you on that. I get really, I don't like to cook. I really don't. I'll get a wild hair every now and then where I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to do some things in the kitchen. And I get nostalgic or festive, especially like in the fall. Or like season changes. I want to think about other foods and things, but I don't like to cook. Especially after working all day. Like, you're tired, and cooking takes effort. It really, truly does take effort. And that's for somebody who doesn't have an eating disorder. So then, if you take that, it's already hard for you. To cook food is going to feel like a challenge. So eat the fast food. It's okay. Food is food. And if that is what is easiest and that is what is accessible to you, that is you taking care of your health, believe it or not. Balanced eating, right, is that sometimes we don't have access to like cooked food all the time. And that's okay. You can eat the food that is available to you. And when your body will also like cue you in, right? Of like, okay, here's some like here you can you could eat. I'm not saying to stop eating fast food even with balanced eating, right? What I'm saying is you can eat at these restaurants forever and always if you want to, and that's what works for you. But how can you also be listening to your body to get the nutrients and the nourishment that you need, right? So what is your body cueing you to eat, and what are those options that are available to you, period? It's that those are kind of that's the general question to be asking yourself, and the answer is more nuanced than that. Let's see. I'm gonna see what we got on Instagram. Make sure. Okay. So, if I'm not hungry, I feel severe guilt. How do I overcome this? Sometimes hunger isn't just that feeling in our stomach. So, if you're eating, you are hungry, and your body is going to digest it and metabolize it and do its job. And so the guilt is because there's that sick, twisted thinking, right? There's that distorted thinking in your brain, but it's a distorted, inaccurate thinking error. Like it's not a thought that's based in reality, because eating, you don't do anything wrong. You've done absolutely nothing wrong for eating. One of the things that I love doing with clients is doing values work and values exploration, because you are not bad for eating. Guilt is sometimes, though, we experience guilt when we feel like we're doing something that doesn't align with our values. So I would say, could you spend some time exploring your top values, and then what is it about eating that feels like it's in opposition to those values, and how can you be more in line with those values? What can you be doing in your life to be serving yourself in those values, because that's what's most important anyway. 5 minutes. Yeah, so I have just a few minutes left because I have a group at 1 for the Recovery Academy folks. We come together on a Zoom chat, and we chat and support each other. I can't hide my crazy. Is it wrong to go to the gym during recovery? But it's also not a definite yes either. There is evidence to support exercise is safe and good and healing for people who are in recovery from an eating disorder. However, there is, of course, accountability that needs to be done. Or is it medically safe? Those kinds of things. Like, I work with a lot of athletes, and they sometimes are still in their sport while going through recovery. So it is okay to exercise or go to the gym, but I think there's a lot of work to be done exploring the intention about that. In fact, that's a big one that comes up because I work with so many athletes, and I love working with like orthorexia, and so a lot of times I see just that like that workout component as a part of it. And so the current, no, is it the current? There is content available in the Recovery Academy for exercise and an eating disorder. How do you balance the two? And so what I mean by like content available in the Recovery Academy, I do a lesson. I teach you about a recovery topic, and then I give you like, you know, treatment tips. Like I give you like a tip, trick, and a tool, and worksheets and activities to help you, you know, work through that. So with that, recovery-academy.com, I'm going to have to hop off to go get ready for grade, but let me just make sure. Okay, yay, so many of y'all ate here with me today. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the love and the support that you give to each other. Thank you for letting other people feel less alone, and thank you for letting people feel supported and encouraged when this is something that's really hard for folks. So I can't answer any more questions, but I'll be back on Monday. We'll do this again. And yeah, you know, you can email me. The best way to connect with me though, y'all, is at recovery-academy.com. I get a lot of DMs and I do respond to them, but I don't always get to individually respond. So if you're wanting some just like questions, or you wanting to reach out, recovery-academy.com, and all of these social media platforms, you can message me there. Just know I don't always get to those. So all right, friends, I will see y'all on Monday.